with me. You may be seated. Y'all been so kind today. Amen. 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 Thank you. We're going to go with me to the 14th verse of the 17th chapter, according to St. Matthew's. And let me read it to you if you don't mind. Amen. In the 14th verse of the 17th chapter of the Gospel according to St. Matthew's, ladies and gentlemen, reads thusly. And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic and sore vexed, for ofttimes he falleth into the fire, often into the water. I brought him to the disciples. They could not cure him. Jesus answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. And Jesus rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. Then came the disciples to Jesus apart and said, Why could not we cast him out? And Jesus said unto them, Because of your unbelief. For verily I say unto you, if you have a faith as a grain of a mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Howbeit this kind goeth out, but by prayer and fasting. That's all. I want to talk about the Eucatastrophe of a destructive life. Eucatastrophe of a destructive life. The Eucatastrophe of a destructive life. I know you're trying to spell it. All right. I got it. It's E-U-C-A-T-A-S-T-R-O-P-H. Eucatastrophe. Anytime you deal with this word catastrophe, Merriam-Webster define catastrophe as the final event of the dramatic action, especially that deals with tragedy. He defines catastrophe as a momentous, tragic event raging from extreme misfortune to overthrow you and to bring you into ruin. Well, he deals with catastrophe. Catastrophe is a violent, usually destructive, natural event. Let me bring it to the 21st century. Catastrophe itself is failure. It is a fiasco. If you use other synonyms to define catastrophe, catastrophe is an apocalypse, a calamity, a cataclysm, a disaster, a debacle. Is a tragedy. And so many believers that go to church, even though you believe in God, how many of us have already said, I didn't believe it could happen to me? Matter of fact, you sitting here this morning, and I know you got your Sunday go to meet the clothes on. but it's not indicative of what you're going through. And one of the worst things in the world that you could ever deal with is to feel like you are a failure. Okay, do I need to say that? And many of us, especially those of us that believe in God, have a tendency to think that we don't have to go through our own failures. Matter of fact, we don't have to go through our own tragedies. There's some of you that's listening at my voice this morning. You are having your own sense of catastrophe. Matter of fact, if you ain't careful, it's destructive. It's destructive emotionally. It's destructive physically. It's destructive. But when you deal with eucatastrophe, the term itself, the word eucatastrophe is formed by affixing a Greek prefix EU, which means good. Stay with me, stay with me, stay with me. I'll be your partner. It means good. And when you affix it to catastrophe, you find that eucatastrophe means the sudden improbable turn for the better. In other words, I was headed down the road to destruction. But somehow, down at the end of the road, it got better. All right? I ain't ready to shout. I feel something. I told you, I feel kind of churchy. You might as well unfold your arms. Keep going for it. There was this writer who was a literature, fairy tale writer named J.R.R. Tolkien. He writes in his literature, he turns eucatastrophe to explain the turn of events that give some hope to folk that are hopeless. And guess what? I got a couple babies in here. Don't drop your head on me now. Guess what? You need a turn of events. Matter of fact, I know you saying right now, we should turn quickly. Matter of fact, you said that here this morning, said, I hope today my day. That this thing turn around for my good. Come on, if I'm on your seat, go on, just shout out. Pat your feet, wink your eye at me, do something I know you're here. And I want to deal with eucatastrophe. When you deal with this eucatastrophe, it is the sudden happiness that turns in a story. Yeah. And which pierces you with joy that sometimes it has a way of bringing tears to your eyes. Let me find some drama, suspense folk in here that love a good drama, y'all kidding me. Let me get my Netflix friends in here. Where you like a good drama. And let me tell you something, if you're anything like me, one of the worst things in the world is when a picture don't end right. Man, you talking about mess me up. Man, I can't sleep with that picture. I said, that picture didn't end right now. And there's supposed to have been a happy ending. Somewhere, I know they went to hell in the story, but guess what? Somewhere near the end, I need to at least hear some music, dramatizing, getting to that point. Oh Lord, and how many times in your catastrophe that you never had a happy end, but I draw came to preach this morning. Eucatastrophe, the complete reversal of a catastrophe. And I got a couple, let me talk, y'all excuse me, I'll be back in a minute. Let me talk to my preachers. I got some preachers that's experiencing their own catastrophe. And you wondering when the turn of events gonna come in your life. And guess what? Don't put me on ignore the wrong side. Go over here. Y'all acting slow. Let me tell you something, man. When you need a turn, and I got some folk in here, seem like your brokenness seem like you got a way of having a hankering hanging around your door. I mean, it seem like I don't care what you do, you can't never get enough money. It seems like your love life always on the rocks. And I need to drop this off on you. It's for free. Guess what? It ain't cause you don't know God. But God sometimes got to take you through a catastrophe to turn it around to show you who He is. And I got somebody in here. Oh, Lord have mercy. You'll lose your mind if God didn't show up for the showdown. Hold on, I ain't ready to go there, y'all. I ain't ready to go there. So when you're dealing with a eucatastrophe, I'm going to say a couple of words about eucatastrophe. The moment of being delivered from evil devil. The moment, and guess what? One of the things that some of you babies miss about God is that you think God need to show up in our life. But God can change your fortune in a moment. Stay there for a moment. Somebody in here ought to get happy about the moment God. See, I got a couple of you babies in here. You need God in a moment. You need a eucatastrophe soon. Come on, let me find some my old finger poppers in here. That's the moment I'm through. And guess what? Sometimes you need God to just show up in a moment. And matter of fact, God, don't wait too long, because Brodie been waiting a little bit too long. I need a moment blessing, right? Anybody in here ever needed a moment blessing where you need God to change that thing? In a moment you got so much hurt, you tired of hurting. You need a moment healing. You need a moment deliverance. You need a moment financial blessing. I know you sitting in here in this moment where I got some folk in here. Know you need a moment. Y'all working over there? So eucatastrophe. All right. I know y'all ain't studied this. You have to read some literature to deal with this. Eucatastrophe. Man, I want to close this. Come on, eucatastrophe, the sudden, improbable turn for the better. Lord have mercy. The sudden, improbable turn for the better. Watch this kind of hammer. The sudden, improbable turn James is for the better. Give somebody a high five. I know it's early. Tell me it's going to get better. I need some party folk in here that know how to do that kind of stuff. When you don't mind giving somebody a high five, that you don't know who you touching this morning, that they got something going on that they needed to get better. Go and get somebody a high five that it's going to get better. Let me do you better. Tell somebody, if it ain't going to get better for you, it's going to get better for me. You going to bless somebody right now. Eucatastrophe of a destructive life. One of the things that I know about many believers that have graced this place on today, you've been straight struggling. Somebody shout straight struggling. Yeah, I got some friends now. Lord have mercy. And let me tell you something. I need to break up your pride. Stop being ashamed of your struggle. Look, y'all killing me in here. Pastor, I won't never go through nothing. And you lying, yes you do. You go through something, tell myself. Yeah, you go through something. I got a couple of you babies saying, hey, you sister good at two shoes, and you ain't nothing, never had. You know, I always got one member in my church. I ain't got but one. I got one member. I got one member, they ain't never done nothing wrong. Okay? They ain't never had no trouble, they never had no problem. Everything always been right. They ain't in here right now, but they always guess what? But I want you to know, there's always one person, and you better watch folk that ain't never had no struggles in their life. You better watch folk. Let me help you with something. If your struggle hadn't came, I'd drop by to tell you, your struggle is on the way. But I got a God, he'll meet you. Yes, he will. At the point of your need. I'm going to talk about something else right now. I dealt with catastrophe. I dealt with catastrophe. And now I want to deal with destruction. Now, when you're dealing with something that is destructive, it's defined as being the act of destroying. This word, destructive, the condition of having been destroyed. And I got a couple babies in here. You deal with shame because you